and welcome to episode 16 of Weight Loss Real Talk, where all I do is cut the silence and skip the BS. Today's topic, reasons why you're always hungry. Let's talk about it. So there are a number of reasons on why you could be hungry, but I'll just go ahead and name a few based on my own personal experience and based on just simple Googling throughout my own personal weight loss journey. So the first reason is you're probably not eating enough protein. I remember when I first came across this piece of advice when I was looking up way back when on how to stop feeling hungry. And I always saw if you want to stop feeling hungry, you have to add more protein into your diet. And I didn't really see that as something necessary because I thought at the time that the only reason you'd want to increase protein intake is if you'd want to increase the amount of muscle that you build, which is true. But I never thought that it would have anything to do with feeling hungry throughout the day. So I gave this piece of advice a try. And turns out it actually does help. And the way that I tested that was I wanted to go through each macronutrient one by one and to try to have that live feeling for myself. And it's true. So I had a day where I would mostly eat high fat meals as well as high carb meals. And throughout my experimentation, I actually did still end up feeling really hungry regardless of how much I ate in terms of fat and carbs. But when it came to eating high protein meals and small high protein meals, if I'm being honest, it actually did help me last 2 to 3 times longer in terms of feeling hungry, which was awesome. So it's definitely something that helps. If you have not tried that before, then go ahead and add more protein into your diet and see what happens. But if you've already tried that and still feel very hungry, then it could also be because you're not eating enough fiber. Just like protein, I also thought it was one of those things that didn't really matter when it came to being hungry, but it actually does help when you add more fiber into your diet, such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, among many other things. When you add these things into your diet, plus the protein, which is a good combination, it does in fact help curb your appetite. Adding more protein into your diet, I mean, it's kind of a given that you need to add more fiber since having that increase in protein does make it a little bit more difficult to curb the appetite. So yeah, definitely try to add more protein and fiber into your diet. Now, the next thing I would say that has quite the effect on hunger is dehydration. A huge percentage of you feeling very hungry is 99.9% of the time because you're thirsty. Not because you're hungry, it is because you are thirsty. So the next time you feel hungry, try to drink water more often before assuming it's because you're actually hungry. And who knows, maybe it is because you're hungry. It's also possible that you're just thirsty. So definitely drink a lot of water. You'd be surprised on how lazy people are in terms of hydration. People say they drink a lot, but really they're not drinking as often as they think they do. So definitely try to drink more often. It's the same thing when it comes to sleep. If you're not sleeping enough, that can have an effect on your hunger as well. And I wouldn't really say it's because of certain things happening inside your body because of that lack of sleep. Thinking about it more in a simple way. If you're staying up late, let's say you had your dinner at 8 or 9 p.m. and you're still awake around 2, 3 a.m., obviously you're hungry because you're still awake. If you had gone to bed when you should have gone to bed, you wouldn't be feeling that feeling of hunger because you're sleeping. Obviously, that's sort of a given. Go to bed when it's time to go to bed. Get off your phone. And that should be one of many things that will help you curb your appetite. The main thing I want to touch on when it comes to always feeling hungry is meal timing. Okay, we already talked about specific things that you should be implementing into your diet to help with hunger, like protein, fiber, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep. So the next thing we have to touch on is mainly meal timing. You see, a lot of the times when people eat, they're eating at the most random times that when they do that, the body knows how to adapt. Therefore, it's going to see that you're kind of being weird in terms of your eating pattern. So when it sees that, it has no other choice than to feel hungry. So what you need to do is that whenever you have your meals, you have to try to have each of those meals at the same time every day. For example, me, every time I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and even snacks, I have my breakfast about 8 or 9 a.m., lunch at 12, 1 p.m. ish, and then dinner around 5 or 6 ish. Now, yes, I know that doesn't seem regular, but it is. So if I had to simplify that, I eat breakfast at 9, lunch at 12, and dinner at 5 p.m. So that's an example of eating regularly and also trying not to skip meals. So if you leave too long of a gap in between your meals, obviously that's a lot of time for your body to feel hungry. Whereas if you were regular with your meal timing, your body's going to adapt, therefore it has no reason to feel hungry. Another thing related to meal timing is eating your last meal too early. Okay, it could either be that or you're sleeping too late. It's one or the other. So if you're eating your last meal too early, let's say like me, that's not early for me personally, but if you were to try that, let's just say it's early, 5 to 6 p.m., you have your last meal. In order to make sure you don't feel hungry, you have to go to bed at least 2 to 3 hours later. That's what I think. And if you go to bed later than that, you already know that your body's going to feel hungry. If you pay attention, you'll see that there's a pattern here where the gap in between meals or when you eat whatever, you have to make sure it is not too long. As a matter of fact, you have to make sure that they're all at least balanced or somewhat short or more compressed. Because when you do that, your body won't have enough time to tell you, hey, I'm hungry again. So that's why it is always important to do that. So those are the reasons I think why people always feel hungry. Of course, there's a lot more that goes into it, but just putting it simply, I really think these are the main reasons why people feel hungry. Either they're not eating enough protein, they're not getting enough fiber, they're not drinking enough, they're not sleeping enough, they're probably not eating healthy enough, perhaps have a garbage diet, they're waiting too long in between meals, etc. I think that all these things are the main reasons why people always feel hungry. And if you can fix these mistakes now, I guarantee you'll never feel hungry, at least not as often. So anyway, I think I've said everything that I needed to say. Hopefully you learned something. And if you did, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. And with that said, I will see you guys in the next one.